Hello everybody, I'm Ben and welcome to my new series. I've decided to call it Unemployed to Unbeatable. As I explained in my introduction video, I am a football manager dad who hasn't played this game for a long time. The last game I bought was Football Manager 2014. Now my kids are a little bit older, which has meant that I have got a bit more time than I previously had. So I'm going to give it a go. It's definitely going to be the kind of series where I'm going to be learning as I go. So if you're expecting me to be a football manager expert, then you're going to be sadly disappointed. I'm going to need you guys to help me by suggesting things that I've obviously done wrong in the comments. And hopefully together we can make this somewhat a success. I've decided to make it really hard for myself by starting as a unemployed manager with Sunday League footballer experience and a National C licence. I've actually got the National C licence myself, so I thought I could give myself a little bit of a bonus by reflecting true life. And yeah, I was something of a Sunday League footballer back in the day. I'm a 37-year-old manager from Portsmouth. Here we go. Right, so this is the home screen by the looks of it. This is me. We're going to click on the Jobs Centre and see what jobs are available. Wow, I wonder if I fancy being a chief scout or a head physio. I guess that's a different game that I'd have to buy. So probably the best thing to do is to filter the jobs by manager and see what we've got out there. Okie dokie. So I think we can probably be fair to assume that the Sky Bet League 2, League 1 and Championship games are out of the question for now. But we've got some National League opportunities here. And we've got some JD, Cymru, South and North opportunities. I should probably have explained to you that the leagues that I've loaded are all of the leagues in England, up to and including the Vanarama North and South. I've also loaded the Welsh leagues, the Scottish leagues, the Northern Irish leagues, and the Republic of Irish leagues. I don't know realistically what kind of level people will consider me at, considering that I'm a Sunday League footballer with a National C licence. I think, as I said, it's safe to assume that Football League jobs are out of the equation for the moment. So we've got these top four here that we probably should show some interest for. AFC Fylde, which is quite far away. I live in Portsmouth, guys. Fylde is up near Blackpool, I think. Even further away at Gateshead. And then across the Severn Bridge to these Welsh clubs. I don't think we can afford to be fussy at this stage, so let's apply for a job. Let's apply for a job. Let's apply for a job. And let's apply for a job. So these two Welsh clubs are, looks like Trefellyn BCG. Trefellyn Boys and Girls Clubs. Does that mean that they have boys and girls playing for them? I imagine not, but, you know. Oh, we've got a Kerry Williams. I suppose Kerry is a boy's and a girl's name, so that's inconclusive. Let's assume that it's a gents football team for the time being. And then we've got a Llanidulus. I'm really sorry to my Welsh family. My promise to you is that if I get a job at Llanidulus, then I will learn how to pronounce the name of the club. Let's have a look at our inbox. I'm guessing this is just acknowledgements. Application received, application received, application received. Okay, right, let's hit continue and see if any of these people want to speak to me. Stephen Field's interested in me. So I'm a Sunday League footballer with no previous experience, yet TalkSport are interested in asking me some questions. Well, let's assume that I've called in myself to a phone-in at this point. Are you open to working abroad I mean, if abroad means Wales, then yeah, I'm open to working anywhere at the moment. I'm currently working in Burger King in Portsmouth, so let's say yes. What's your experience of working, getting a job from being unemployed? Am I being unrealistic by expecting somebody in the National League to be interested in me? Obviously, that would be my preference. But, as I say, can't afford to be fussy at this point in time. Okay, we've got some more things in the inbox. How exciting. Okay. So, we've been informed by Gateshead that our role has been, our application has been unsuccessful. Maybe that's an indication that the National League is a stretch too far at this stage. But we've also had some information that somebody's been sacked. Kevin Doherty from Drogheda United, and they're an Irish League team. They're in the Premier League, the Irish Premier Division. What's he done to be sacked at this time of the year? Have they had matches? Interesting. The Irish Premier Division starts in March and finishes in November. Right, okay. So do we want to look at taking a club on that are rock bottom of the league? What happens if they get relegated? There is a league below that, okay. I think we need to look at this job as well, ladies and gents. The Irish Premier Division would be an interesting challenge, especially a club that's 4 points off of safety with half the season to go. I'm going to view the job advert. I mean, the wage bill is probably more than you would expect in the Welsh League, I suppose. Let's apply for the job. See what that does to it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a job interview. It's at Llanidlis. Yeah, I really hope that one of the questions isn't how do you pronounce the name of the club, because I think we'll be shown the door. But this is our first ever interview. I'm almost tempted to get a suit on. Nigel Crisp is welcoming us. Hello, Benjamin. We've invited you along today so that we can put forward our vision for the club and allow you to suggest any alterations for us to consider should we decide to hire you. Nigel, thank you for the welcome. I am glad you have given me the chance to talk to the club. Let's get down to business. You're up for a few jobs right now, it seems. Are you hedging your bets? I mean, yes. As I said, currently working in Burger King, so I suppose, how do I put this in a more constructive way? I know how it might look, so it's up to you as to whether it rules me out of contention. I'm more than prepared to withdraw from all the others if it's a red line. I'm not prepared to do that, I don't think. I'm doing whatever I can to help progressing. That sounds very positive. Okay, we parted company with our last manager much sooner than anybody would have anticipated. Can you offer assurances that we won't be in for a repeat of that? I mean, I probably won't leave in the foreseeable future, but I'm also not very confident that I will deliver you the results, guys. But I'm not going to tell you that, so I'm going to say if I came here, I want to stay for the long term. That's a promise. What happens if I break that promise? They can't exactly sack me, can they? Here is the club's current vision for the future, which you would be expected to work towards. If successful in the interview, we would be keen to hear your thoughts. Strive to make progress on and off the pitch is a board culture. Work within the wage budget and grow the club's reputation. Okay. We've got no information objectives at this stage. This seems perfectly acceptable to me. I mean, strive to make progress on and off the pitch. It's not very specific, is it? That suits me, I suppose. If hired, we would expect you to battle against relegation, with us unable to consider you keeping you in the role should you be relegated. Do you think you can do better than that? So this is one of those where it's the bottom league, so if you get relegated, it's game over, isn't it? I'm not going to commit to doing better than that. I'm going to say that I agree, and that's a fair target to aim for. What do you think of the proposed wage budget of £500 per week should you get the job? I mean, I was hoping for about £500 a week as a wage. Can I spend it all on me? I'd be happy to work with the proposed wage budget should I get the role. I've got to say that at this stage, I don't think I'm in a position to negotiate with no experience and Sunday League footballing background. I have no request to propose, I'm afraid. Okay, that's everything. Happy reviewing, Nigel Crisp. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Question from Monday Hours Nick's Daily. Reports suggest that you've attended an interview for the vacant Lanidolas job. Do you have any comments to make? I'm so amazed by how interested the press are in my career at this very early stage. I have to admit being intrigued by the prospect of working there, and I felt obliged to attend the interview. I don't think that there's much to those stories, really. Well, okay, this is really interesting. There's not an option to say I'd really like the job. So I think I'm just going to say no, not for the time being. Let's hit continue. Right, so AFC filed. Do not want to consider me for the role. I think that concludes that we were reaching too much, considering ourselves for a National League job. But excitingly, we have another job interview. I would say at this stage, Trefelin are my preferred option, mainly because I can pronounce the name of the club. Attend interview. Hello, Benjamin. We've invited you along today so we can put forward our vision for the club and allow you to suggest any alterations for us to consider should we decide to hire you. Thank you, Stephen Green. I wonder if Stephen Green attended the same job interview training as Mr. Crisp, because their script seems to be very similar. It's great to be here. You're in for a few jobs right now, it seems. Are you hedging your bets? Stephen, I'm doing what I can to keep progressing. If you're mates with Mr. Crisp, which I suspect you are at this point, I think he's probably told you that. We parted company with our last manager much sooner than anyone would have anticipated. It is obviously my intention to commit to a long time, and at the point in which I'm not committed to you anymore, there's not much you can do about it. So, we're looking for exactly the same culture and targets as the last interview, and I think I'm inclined to agree with them at this stage. And I am going to meet the expectation of avoiding relegation, Stephen. Don't you worry about that. Oh, okay, so we have less wages to play with here. Would a proposed wage budget of £307 a week be suitable? At this stage, I'm going to say yes. Do you have any requests to consider? I didn't really look at these last time. Maybe I should have a glance. Expand the stadium, training facilities, youth coaching. Obviously, all of this is important, but not something that I feel inclined to speak to Stephen about right now. Fantastic news. Thank you very much, Stephen. 2 interviews in the bag. Feeling confident with these now. Feel like I can begin to predict the questions. Let's hit continue. Okay, so Rotherham have made the disastrous decision to appoint Gareth Ainsworth as their new coach when I was available. I'm sure one day they'll come to regret that when I've won the Champions League. Similar mistake from Colchester. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a decision to make. Lendulus have offered us a role. Trefelin have offered us a role. I'm gonna have to go for this one. I'm gonna have to learn the. I'm gonna have to learn the name of the club. Okay, so they've offered me 12 months, which I think is about as much as you can expect in your first job, and a wage of £180 per week. I'm going to try and negotiate that up a little bit because, as I say, I live in Portsmouth at the moment. In an ideal world, I'd like to be able to at least afford a tent in Wales. Let's suggest these terms. Okay, they've agreed that straight away. Maybe I need to work on my negotiation skills a little bit. Probably feel like I could have got a few more pounds out of them, but let's finalise the deal. I think we could be on the verge of our first club, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, here we are. Llanidlus Town, hire Lucas. Eyebrows have been raised in the world of football at the appointment of the inexperienced 37-year-old. He's sure to face plenty of questions when he faces the media for the first time. Probably the first question is, why can't you read? Because you've said our club name differently every time you've said it. At the Victoria Park Stadium, he replaces previous manager Lawrence Wilson. Ian Druitt was considered to be the favourite. Lucky Ian. Especially after he was spotted attending an interview with the club, but they preferred a different candidate. Lucas rejected the offer from Trefelin. I did. Right, okay, so we've got a half-star reputation and media prediction of 15th. I probably should have looked at how many people are in the, how many teams are in the league this season, but 15th is definitely in the bottom half, I would assume. We have got a few trophies in our history. Best side of success in the 2010s. We won the Welsh third tier 7 times. We've won an FAW trophy in 1922. It's a club with some history here, you know. And the Challenge Cup in 2022. Some success to build on. So we're being recommended a 4-4-2 by the looks of it, which is pretty standard for this level, I would imagine. So in addition to our objectives that we talked about in the interview, we've got some cup competitions that we need to be competitive in and attempt to avoid relegation from the league. I think that's about as easy going from the board as I could have expected. The supporters want us to remain in the division. Of course, it's game over if we don't. Right then, so this is certainly a screen that wasn't in the Football Manager 2014, which was the last game I played. We've got a breakdown of the supporters, including 8% who are hardcore Llanidlus Ultras. I feel like they would get very cross at me for not pronouncing their club name properly. We have 51 season ticket holders as well. Okay, so this is our squad. It's a big squad. A very big squad. Not a huge amount of them actually on a contract. And a lot of them are listed. So we might be in a situation where we shouldn't get too attached to these chaps. However, we have a superstar, Jamie Breeze, a striker, who's on £140 a week. That's a fair old percentage of our wage budget. He better be a superstar. He likes to play as a pressing forward, or a target forward, or a poacher, or an advanced forward. This guy can do it all as long as he is a forward. How exciting. How long has he been with us? Wow, he's a returning legend. Scored 15 goals last season, so a bit of a talisman. We've got a defensive midfielder. I do quite like playing with a defensive midfielder, actually. Could be useful for us. Tom Goodwin is also tied down to a contract. These are people that we're going to have to build the squad around, I think. We have a keeper as well who is also tied down to a contract at 31 years old. Could be with us for a while. We've got Lance Jones, who plays anywhere through the kind of midfield spine. And then it looks like we've got our 23-year-old up-and-coming talent also likes to play up front, Jack or Bell. I'm quite excited. We've got some players to build around here. The idea is going to be to understand which ones of these guys we want to keep and see whether they're worth offering contracts to. Let's have a quick look at the stadium. So we've got a 2,000 capacity seat at Victoria Park Stadium. I imagine that... Oh, hang on a minute. Is it 2,000 or is it 2,500? We've got 2,000 used capacity and a capacity of 2,500. Have we got a stand that's in disrepair? I wonder. Okay, so this is the glorious Victoria Park Stadium. It looks wonderful. Hopefully that looks like quite an old stand, so hopefully that's not the one that's been taken out of commission. Right, we found Victoria Park on a map in the glorious town of Llanidloes. I think I'm getting there. Llanidloes, the glorious town of Llanidloes. Zoom in a little bit. Change our view to satellite view. Where are we in the world? Okay. Beautiful. What a ground. I think there's a bit of expansion capacity there, isn't there? When we're a Champions League team, we can maybe turn the pitch 45 degrees, 90 degrees even. Put some stands up. Who knows? Is there a street view? What does it look like from the road? Beautiful. Oh, I say beautiful. I'm not actually 100% sure which direction the stadium is. Here we go. Look at that. That is our new home, ladies and gentlemen. And what we will be doing tomorrow is having a closer look at the tactics and the players and where we're going to fit them in. And then trying to put a team together to take on the Cymru North? South? North. I know where I am. The Cymru North. And avoid relegation. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.